Hello and welcome back to the 30-Day Better You Challenge. My name is Jonathan and I've created this program to help you better connect to your physical, mental, and spiritual self so that you can live a healthier, happier, more fulfilling life. It's day 3 and today's challenge is drink more water. Most people just aren't drinking enough water. Instead, we're consuming things like coffee, tea, soda, sugary sports drinks, and even alcohol. But we're not getting enough water. So I looked up to see what the recommendation was, and it turns out it's about 0.5 to 1 ounce per body weight. So whatever your body weight is, divide it in half, and that's your minimum number of ounces that you should be consuming. For me, I weigh about 180 pounds, so if I drink, 3 to 4 of these per day, I'm pretty good. I typically drink about that much, but some days I'll actually drink more, like maybe 5 of these, especially on the days like I go to the gym because I get really thirsty. If you don't have a water bottle, I highly recommend you get one. This is my water bottle here. It's covered in Bigfoot stickers, as you can see. And it's just something that, you can take with you everywhere. I don't leave my home without it. I go everywhere with this thing. That way I always have water on hand. And it also means like I'll never have to buy bottled water ever again. So if you're buying bottled water, please stop immediately. Get yourself a water bottle and take it with you everywhere you go. Even though the subject seems pretty straightforward, drink more water, I'm going to give you a few things to consider. The first thing is try to drink before you get thirsty. If you get thirsty, that is your body's way of telling you it's stressed out and you've basically entered the first stage of dehydration. If you ignore it any longer, you're susceptible to headaches, wooziness or nausea, feeling weak, and it just goes downhill from there. So try to stay on top of it and regularly sip from your water bottle throughout your day. Another tip, start early. When you wake up, you're probably going to have to urinate immediately. It's pretty common. So make sure you replenish your body by drinking about a glass full of water. Do this before you eat or drink anything, especially if you're a coffee drinker like me, because this will dilute the acidity of coffee and will actually help prevent stomach ulcers from forming. Another thing worth mentioning is that unfortunately not all water is just water. Some of our city water, for instance, might contain chlorine and fluoride, and these are actually toxic chemicals used to treat water. Also, a lot of the water that we're treating might come from, for instance, rivers, and rivers, as they flow, often pick up contaminants from non-point source pollution, like from city streets in our neighborhoods, as well as pollutants from orchards and farms. So whether or not this stuff gets filtered out perfectly, who's to say, really? So for me, I prefer not to drink tap water, and if I do drink it, I use my refrigerator's filter system or a pitcher filter system, such as a Brita. I remember reading a few years back, it was an article, I think it was in National Geographic or something, and there were these water quality tests done on the tap water. I think it was in the Seattle suburbs. And the tests were coming back positive for pharmaceuticals. And they had to trace that back to what's the source of that, what's going on there. And it turns out that a lot of the city water was actually processed sewer water. And somehow these pharmaceuticals, which were being flushed through people's bodies and when they go to the bathroom, and they're not being removed by the water filter system or whatever they're doing to process the water. These, trace elements of pharmaceuticals aren't getting removed. So, ew. So where can one get pure drinking water? Good question. You can usually find a good assortment of drinking water sold in jugs at your local grocery store. There you'll find purified and filtered drinking water, mineral water, spring water, fancy artesian water, and the like. And if you're fortunate enough to have a source in your hometown like a water store, you might find a thing called reverse osmosis water. Reverse osmosis, or RO water, is basically water that has been pushed through several levels and layers of filtration. And it's said to really remove most of all contaminants and heavy minerals. So it's really good, clean, pure water. It's a little harder to find than the your normal drinking water, but I highly recommend RO water. It's pure, it's clean, it tastes great. Another option is alkaline water. You'll find alkaline water at that same water store, and you can actually buy it from grocery stores. And what alkaline water is it's water that's slightly charged in the alkaline direction. So it has a slight positive charge to it. And what that does for our bodies is it helps balance our pH system. If you think about it, we consume a lot of acidic foods. Like, I drink a lot of coffee, and coffee is very acidic. So this is an easy way to just kind of balance your pH system. And there's a lot of claims that it helps prevent and fight diseases. I drink alkaline water from time to time, and I love it. I don't have any like major claims per se, but I did notice that I think I felt better drinking it, and it also just felt like good knowing that not only is this a pure source of drinking water, but it also might be beneficial to my body and help regulate my pH system. And pH, again, is really important. It is a way of helping our organs maintain regularity and healthiness. It's also linked to our hormones and our metabolism. So, having a balanced pH system is definitely important for our homeostasis.
Okay, how's this for a water source?
My favorite source of drinking water, however, is a little more rare. I live really close to the Cascade Mountain Range here in Washington State, and I recently found a source of fresh spring water that comes directly out of the ground. Some of the locals use this for their water source. They've assured me that it's, completely drinkable straight out of the pipe, so I know it's safe. But it's naturally filtered by the earth, and it may even have some of the healthy minerals in it that my body needs. Plus, it's just damn good water. Some of the best tasting water I've had, actually. I call it life water because of how fresh and crisp it tastes and how good it makes me feel after I drink it. Little word of caution here, please don't drink directly from rivers or streams without filtering or boiling your water first. There's a lot of bacteria and microorganisms that can make you really, really sick. Again, this natural spring that I discovered is used by the locals. They've been using it for years, and they've assured me that it is safe, potable water, and you can drink it straight from the pipe. So it's a trusted source. But if I just stumbled on this in the forest, I might still filter it just to be safe. But natural spring water is something that I look for when I'm out hiking and camping. I just love that fresh mountain water that's been filtered by the earth. If you think about it, it's water that is still high up in the mountains and the altitude. So it's just like snow and rain runoff that moves through the earth, gets filtered, and that water hasn't entered the rivers yet, and the rivers haven't flowed to the farms and through the city, so it hasn't been contaminated. So this is, rule of thumb, go directly to the source, and that's why if you don't have access to the mountains, you can actually buy spring water in the grocery store, and a lot of those spring water companies claim that this is straight from the mountains. So whether it is or not, I don't know, but at least you know that you're drinking safe drinking water. The last thing I'd like you to think about is just to have an overall appreciation for water. Water is absolutely essential to life, and nothing can live without it. It's sacred for that reason. And humans have been pretty harsh to the planet, as I'm sure you're aware of, and the health of our rivers and oceans are at stake, therefore our health is at stake. So please, don't take clean water for granted. Unfortunately, there may come a day it becomes scarce. So have gratitude towards Mother Earth for providing you with this absolute necessity. You know, in many other cultures in the world, people actually pray over their water, or at least have special practices of how they handle their drinking water. In Ayurvedic medicine, for instance, in India, they don't drink straight from the tap. The idea is when water travels through these pipes, it does so in a very violent way, and the water becomes disturbed. And so they pour their water into large pitchers and let the pitchers sit and settle, so that when they do consume it, they're not taking in that disturbed energy. Because water is an excellent conduit for energy, right? And you yourself, your body, is 70% water. So, just something to think about. With that being said, that'll do it for today. We'll see you tomorrow for day 4 of the 30-Day Better You Challenge. Until then, please go drink some water.